Pastor Seth told me to sit down. As soon as I did, he asked me, "Who is the father of your child?" The church board was present, all anxiously waiting for my answer. Even Deaconess Elsie, the head of the choir, was there. "We observed you as an upstanding Christian who many young people looked up to in this church. The church frowned upon your divorce, and now you are with a child without any man by your side. Tell us, who is the father of this child?" Yes, I was queried by the pastor and the church board, but my only regret is that I should have taken action sooner. Please listen to my tale worth telling and tell me in the comment section what you think. Matthew was the kind of girl everyone was happy to identify with. Why, you may ask? He was handsome, yes, tall, yes, but it was his brilliant mind that drew all of us to him. He was the course representative of our class, and he took his job seriously. We even heard that he had helped lecturers to mark our papers sometimes. He was everywhere. Library, hostel, classrooms. Every day at 9 p.m. he would conduct tutorial classes where he broke down difficult topics. He simplified them so much that even if you missed lectures and you attended Matthew's tutorial, you will still pass with flying colors. I'm telling you, Matthew was a hero. Even in our campus fellowship, he gave sermons and conducted the choir. God-fearing. Oh yes. So you can imagine how shocked I was when he came to me in the cafeteria and declared his love for me. I did not see it coming at all. I was not among the most attractive girls on campus, neither was I one of the smartest, so I kept wondering, what did a prominent guy like Matthew see in me? I must have been blessed and highly favored. Truly, others considered me lucky. I mean, dating Matthew meant not failing in school. But he came with a bunch of other things. Matthew loved to have his own way. He always wanted the final say, and my opinion was never needed. Well, I didn't really see it as a bad thing then because I believed he made good choices. I am an only child, and my dream has always been to get married and have as many children as possible. I saw in Matthew an intelligent father. Nevertheless, things went south in our final year when we were writing our exams, and all of a sudden, security men barged in and walked straight to Matthew's desk, pulled him from his seat and walked him out. It was a case of malpractice. I cannot tell you how shocked we were. Shocked wasn't even the word. We were gobsmacked. I remember my mouth hanging wide open. We had read all through the night. So explain to me what will possess Matthew to bring such a disgrace upon himself. Later, we discovered that he was writing exams for someone else. Imagine. I didn't even know he could stoop so low. I had to get my little cousin Ekpen to help me bail him out. Eventually, he was rusticated. And that was the end of university for him. To be expelled from the university is one thing. To be expelled in your final year, that was devastating. All the lecturers who were his friends did their best to change it to suspension, but it was impossible. Eventually, he had to move out of campus because he was barred from the university community. Even our fellowship refused to associate with him, and he was chastised and asked to leave. He couldn't go home. His mother was a poor widow who farmed cassava in the village. Everyone had been depending on him to lift them out of poverty, but unfortunately, he also needed saving. He maintained his off-campus room, and I did my best to stand by him. I didn't want him to feel abandoned in his lowest moment, so I visited him, encouraged him, advised him, and gave him the little money I had to support him. Eventually, I asked him what really happened that day. He told me he was writing an examination for Idowu Badmus, a very unserious rich boy who missed classes often. Idowu had promised him 5 million naira to secure an A in the course. Matthew needed the money, so he took the opportunity. I felt sorry for him. I told him his best option would be to apply to another university, but he almost exploded. He said he could not start afresh. His family had expected him to graduate that year. His mother had sold their house to send him to school. He was not ready to start from scratch. So when I graduated, he started helping me to apply for jobs. He supported me and coached me for interviews. And as soon as I landed a job, he proposed. We had discussed that he would start a business after we got married. The truth is, I never once doubted my loyalty to Matthew. He had categorized the malpractice incident as village people attacking his destiny, and I understood totally, because why would such a brilliant guy fall into such temptation? Evil people everywhere. Our wedding was beautiful. You will never know Matthew was unemployed because I covered him in every way. My family was free-spirited, and since they saw my heart was with Matthew, they supported us wholeheartedly. I made sure he had the prestige and pride of a successful husband. Even when my classmate congratulated me for standing by him, I was truly overjoyed. I was eager to start a family immediately. It wasn't long after I started working, Matthew got a job. I was pleasantly surprised. He told me favor had smiled on him during the interview. Do you know that he was even given a car and a driver as part of the package? I was so happy. But my joy wasn't complete because after 5 years of marriage, we still had no child. We were committed churchgoers, and Matthew never seemed bothered about our childlessness. He refused to follow me for medical checkups and kept telling me that we would have a baby in God's time. My family became worried, and my mother even suggested IVF and other medical interventions, but Matthew said he would never be part of such. So I became more fervent in prayers and continued going to the hospital regularly for one test or another. My boss was very compassionate. She tried to connect us with her husband's friend, a gynecologist in the US. But of course, Matthew was not interested. They kept saying that unless Matthew came for analysis, there was nothing more they could do. I pleaded with him, I begged, I cried. He refused. There was no one to report him to. His mother was old and frail, and even our pastor sided with him, telling me to obey what decision my husband made, but nobody cared to listen to me. I wanted a baby. Beauty was a contract staff in our office. She had just completed her master's degree. She was very beautiful, just as her name implied, and she was eloquent too. She lived in my estate, so we started going to work together, and Matthew would pick us up and drop us together at home. You already know where this is going, right? Okay, everyone knew before me, because even on days that I was off work or I was going to the hospital, Matthew would still insist on taking Beauty to work. So at work, I became miserable. Beauty began to glow. Do you know I even reported her to my boss? Chai, God bless Auntie B. My boss called Beauty and warned her sternly to leave Matthew alone. When I got home, Matthew was furious. He shouted at the top of his voice, daring me to speak to Beauty again. I was shocked. I didn't know what else to do or who else to call. Matthew and Beauty became open about their relationship. It was only God that saved me. I was losing weight, becoming miserable. I tried to find another job. I couldn't. I didn't want to give up on my marriage. But the tears I cried, I expected it. I knew it. As soon as I got home from work, Beauty had moved in. I stood at the doorway and saw them sitting together on the couch. The couch I bought with my own money. I knew it was over, and just like a robot, I walked inside, packed my things. I had had enough. Beauty would still come to work, act like nothing was wrong. She laughed with the receptionist, laughed with colleagues, laughed on the phone while talking to my husband. Imagine the audacity. Matthew would still come to the office to pick her up, helping her carry her bags without saying a word to me. But Auntie B kept encouraging me, telling me to ignore them and focus on making myself successful. I was the first to know Beauty was pregnant. There was no signs, but I just knew. And I felt like someone had added firewood to an already raging fire. It was torture. Watching Matthew dote on her, it was excruciating. He had won. He got a young, beautiful woman. He was promoted at work, and now they were becoming a family. Who did I offend? When Beauty finally had her baby, she resigned. I thought that should have brought me relief, but I was still hurt. Matthew knew how badly I wanted a child, and he robbed me of that opportunity when he brought Beauty into our marriage. It was the doctor Auntie B introduced me to who later reached out to me about sperm banks and IVF, and he explained how I could still have everything I always wanted, a baby. I thought about it carefully. Matthew had moved on. I was not ready to meet another man. I wanted to focus on my work and heal, and a few months later, it was done. So for the first time in 42 years, I was pronounced pregnant. See me see joy. No one knew yet. I stayed away from prying eyes, that early stage, because I needed time to believe myself. I needed time to convince myself that I made the right decision. However, as soon as the church found out, I was summoned. Pastor Seth called me. Everyone on the board was seated. Sister Favor, you are hereby dismissed from the church. Do you think the Lord is pleased with you? Having a chemical child. A child should be born to a father and a mother, not to a single woman. You have gone against the laws of life, and for that, heaven will punish you, he said angrily. What will you say? Who or what will you show him? Why can't you be patient? Why are you jumping ahead of God? What example are you setting for the younger generation? Be patient. God will give you a man after his heart. This child is a curse and nothing more. Tears filled my eyes. Please, sir, can I say something? I said quietly. What do you have to say? What can you possibly say to justify this? Let's hear her out, the head of board said. Thank you, Reverend Hosea, I said. I am here not to justify myself, far from it, but I need you all to understand that this road has not been easy for me. We're all here. When Matthew deserted me, I came to you all, but there was nothing anyone could do. I am an only child, and Matthew has always known my love for children. I pleaded with him several times for us to seek medical help, but he refused. I waited 16 years. 16 years of hoping, 16 years of waiting. I did not commit adultery for this child. I did not put my heart at risk. My father died before I was born. My mother is all I have. This child may not meet his father, but with God's help, he will be cared for, loved, and nurtured. Science is meant to help mankind, and if God gives me a husband someday, then we will raise this child together. Younger women still have time. They still have dreams. Brethren, I understand that this may be difficult to accept, especially within our culture and religion, but I was broken, I was abandoned, and I still desired to be a mother, and I chose a path that gave me hope and stability, and I did it prayerfully. I know not everyone will agree with my decision, but it was a personal choice made from a place of pain, not rebellion. And if you still think this is a sin, then let he who has no sin cast the first stone. I was in tears. It was the pastor's wife who stood up first to hug me, then Deaconess Elsie, then the elders, and finally the pastor. They assured me of their support. They understood. Baby Solomon was 3 days old, and I was still in the hospital when I saw Matthew's face all over social media. Chief Operating Officer of Zion Registers, Matthew Ekundayo, used fake results to secure his job. I stared at his face. He looked older. He looked like a stranger. Then Solomon cried, the most beautiful sound in the world. My precious baby was reminding me that he was here, and he was the only one that mattered to me right now. So grateful for this gift. Tell me, if this was your only choice, would you use a sperm bank to have a baby? Please subscribe, like, and share. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.